morning, everybody. Father Rick mentioned yesterday that we get really valuable constructive criticism, and one of our most frequent viewers said, when you walk around, it makes me seasick. And I get that, and so we've decided to be a little more still camera. But if you'll forgive me, today there's going to be a little walking around because I wanted everybody to see the parking lot of the Epiphany Episcopal Church. And you'll notice it is not just an asphalt jungle, but there's tasteful little plants and trees throughout. Add some green, we make some oxygen here, and it's a great thing. But most importantly, to today's theme, all these plants were very carefully and lovingly chosen because they don't use very much water. Las Vegas, Nevada is a desert with maybe a dozen inches of rain in a big year. That's a wet year. And today's theme is about saving water. And yes, saving water is a spiritual thing. Taking care of creation is a command from God. And it's not just a matter of dominating it and making ever bigger dams so that we can use the water to generate electricity and to water golf courses, although there's some value to that if you golf, I guess. Beyond that, there's a bigger level of stewardship where we have to think just about what maintains life in the very best way. So let's keep looking around. This is a desert, looks like a desert. What we're trying to not look like is, for instance, when I lived in Los Angeles, I heard about the families in Bel Air. They couldn't figure out which household was using 12 million gallons of water a year. They narrowed it down to a couple. And apparently there were several swimming pools and lots of fountains. Fountains in low humidity use tons of water. Yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they proclaim abundance. But in a California drought, maybe we want to limit a bit. Just have 3 swimming pools instead of 5. And try to cut back. Now, what is not a justifiable answer in my mind, and by the way, the wet prince of Bel Air outed himself because, as they say in the South, the bit dog always barks. Well, somebody came forward to really quickly say, as long as he pays his $110,000 bill for the water per year, he's entitled to use as much as he wants. So they figured out the wet prince of Bel Air and who he was. The fact that you have $110,000 is not justification. Please, sisters, brothers, don't use, I've got the money, I can do whatever I want with it, because it's only a short step till then, till we're human trafficking and everything else. There's way more involved in a good, moral, and godly decision than to whether or not there's the money in your pocket to purchase the commodity. But I digress. Let's get back to water. I read the other day that Lake Mead, which is the water source for Las Vegas, officially will be lowered yet another 5 feet. And it's down about 80 feet from where it was in, say, the 1970s, and where it was designed to be when they built it in the 1930s. That's quite a bit of cubic yards of water that just aren't there. In addition to that, Lake Mead was also pronounced at the primary swimming area where I have swum myself in the last 2 months and looked forward to that refreshment, unswimmable because of the heat of the water and also because some of the boats there don't retain their waste and pump their waste. Anyway, I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know there's a responsible way to be a boat owner and to live aboard, and there's the irresponsible way. And a few can ruin the beach for the many. Given that Lake Mead is going down, the water quality is going down, I think it's wise for all of us not to get angry at the wet prince of Bel Air, but to say, what can I do? And that's my message for today, to ask, what in any way can all of us save water? At my condo, I've actually been told, don't worry about water usage because we all divided up, all 358 units. We don't have water meters. That is not the point. It is not the cost. The real cost is the water itself. That is the real commodity of value. So, as simple as it is, you've heard them all, this isn't sexy, but can you turn the water off, while you're counting your brush strokes. Yes, you can, and that's that much less water wasted. Can you ask yourself, if you shave in the shower, as I do, can you turn the water off while you're doing that? Just save those extra few gallons. And do you fill the dishwasher? All the things you might ask yourself. Do you wash your car a little more often than it needs it? Guilty. But I want to own that and say, yeah, just because I pay for the monthly and I go through as much as I want, that doesn't justify using all that water. And maybe I can cut back on that. Here's the biggest thing of all, though. Brothers, sisters, if you own a house, let's go for a walk. And let's remember that if you, for instance, look in the distance and you see that field, let's adjust our eyes to understand that those couple little pieces of desert grasses and all that rocks, all those rocks, are not ugly. They're not undeveloped. They don't need lots of grass and pine trees. Rabbits, tortoises, snakes, and coyotes all see that as a beautiful ecosystem as is. And when we're decorating our nice homes, we don't need to bring our Midwestern values with us. These rocks are gorgeous. A tree or two is fine, but let's be aware of where we are and live where God put us and use the amount of water that God's provided. There really is a lot of spirituality in water conservation, and I invite you to prayerfully consider how you might do your part. That's what I got for today. I love you. See you again.